Rich with our little homestead, and it's been an interesting day today, June 13th, 2021, here on the homestead. 7 a.m. this morning, boom, 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 boom. Of course, I don't hear it because I sleep like the dead, but my wife heard it. And boom, 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 boom. We hear it again. Well, not we, she. She heard it again, my camera person, the camera lady. She's beautiful. Anyways, she said, somebody's at the door, wake up. So I go to the door and I see the back of a Pennsylvania State Police officer walking away from my front porch to their vehicle. So, oh boy. What could this be? So of course, me and my stupor, I'm lucky to even have shorts. I might have answered the door in my underwear. I think I might have had these shorts on. I don't know. Swing open the door, can I help you? She says, hey, because it was a nice young officer, a lady, and she says, hey, do you own a couple cows and a donkey? Yeah, I own a couple cows and a donkey. She said, do the cows wear little halters? At this point, I've positively identified said animals, but being an officer of the law, she wanted to make sure these are the perps. She wanted to get a positive ID on these perps. So she says to me, they wear these, a purple halter and a pink halter, and they got little bells on the side. Yeah. So they're about a mile up the road in the farmer's field. Well, this is a problem. I said, okay, now I'm awake. Okay. We go up the field, and there's not that one trooper, but there's two state troopers sitting a mile up the road. Of course, I have yet to see my cows, and then I see them. My wife says, I can't see them. I said, I see them. They're over there. Right there, and there's donkey following behind. Luckily, usually, your cows get out. This is a giant problem. It's a giant problem for us too. And I am making light of a very serious situation. Luckily, thank the Lord, my animals listen well to me. And they were not being rambunctious. They didn't run from me or nothing like that. I was able to put their leads on them. Very easily, and of course I didn't want to cross the road because they had already crossed the road apparently. Maybe that's why they got the cops called on them. I don't know. So I had to walk them all the way back to the back end of this giant soybean field. Walk them all along the back of this soybean field, and then up a four-wheeler trail, and then cross the road with these guys. Anyways, to make a very short story long and a long story short, we got them home safe and sound, and nobody was hurt. My pride was a little hurt because I just put up a barbed wire fence, and my wife, she kept saying to me, Richard, I don't know about this fence. I said, oh, it's fine. Nah. Well, guess what? It's not fine. So I have some more barbed wiring to do. Anyways, that's just the tip of the iceberg. Here I am in our beautiful garden that we put in, I don't know, 2 weeks ago for the tomatoes, about 3 weeks ago for the potatoes, the carrots, the onions. I'm like, I want to show this thing off, man. All right, so these are, I think, 2-week-old potatoes that we planted. They're doing really good. They're popping up. They look beautiful. And then of course we have our onion sets we put in. We put in 3 rows. Some of them didn't come up, but they look beautiful. They look gorgeous. And then there's our potatoes. And we love potatoes around here. And one of the reasons why is it's kind of like a gardening surprise. It's like Christmas at the end of the season, because you're like, ooh, I wonder what's gonna be under here, and then you pull up your plant or dig up your plant, you get big potatoes and little potatoes, and so it's kind of like a little gardening surprise. It's kind of like Christmas in September or whenever you harvest. So that's why we love potatoes. I think there's a parade going on behind me. I'm really sorry about the traffic. It is what it is. That's a road. I live by a road. Like, I have a homestead. We have a homestead by a road. It happens. It's in the middle of nowhere. So anyways, so we have these big, beautiful potatoes. They were planted about 3 weeks ago. I hope they are doing well. We planted carrot seeds about 3 weeks ago. As you can see, we have a little bit of thinning that we should probably do. I hate thinning carrots because they're like a surprise at the end of the year too. You know, you grab a bunch, you pull it, oh, look at that carrot. It's one of the greatest feelings in the world, and I really suggest planting root vegetables because they're so much fun. Then there's our tomatoes. Our tomatoes are have been in the ground approximately 2 weeks. 2 weeks. And look at these things. Aren't they gorgeous? They are so pretty. We have basically this trellis, that trellis, are a few different varieties. This one is all Jet Star, which is an indeterminate variety. It means they're just gonna produce tomatoes continuously throughout their production season. And then our last row down there, we have a determinate variety known as San Marzano. We love canning, we love making tomato sauce, tomato paste, tomato juice. And so these are the varieties that we've kind of hand-picked for doing that. Today we're going to do a little bit of pruning. We got to get some low-hanging branches off the ground. We also got to get rid of some suckers that are growing on the indeterminates here. I hope that was right. Yeah, it is. Okay, I had to think for a second. When you're live on the spot, I'm not live, but still, I don't want to mess up the video. So anyways, a funny story about the tomato trellis here. So, you know, if you watch the tomato trellis video, I was like, I hate tomato cages. I'm gonna hashtag it. I hate tomato cages suck, whatever. Well, wouldn't you know it, that my wonderful Uncle Don, he goes to all these flea markets. He's being a nice guy, and what does he do? He picks us up a bunch of tomato cages, all right? And then, before he can give them to me, he sees the YouTube video, because of course he's one of my wonderful 47 subscribers. So, hey, here's looking at you, Uncle Don. But anyways, he sees the YouTube video, me saying, I hate tomato cages. Now he's like, what am I gonna do with all these tomato cages? I got these for him as a gift. Don't worry, Uncle Don. We got a whole nother field of tomatoes that we're gonna use them in, and I don't hate tomato cages, and I appreciate your generosity. Anyways, we're gonna go to the second part of this video. We're just gonna zoom in a little bit and kind of show you how to prune these things up, how to tie them up, how we do it, and we'll give you some reasons why we do it. Okay? Okay, so here we are at our San Marzanos. They're a determinate variety, and they produce all their fruit at the same time. So really, by doing too much pruning on these plants, it's just going to hurt your tomato harvest. Little disclosure, we have never pruned our tomato plants, so this is new for us. But after doing research, we found out that really we've been doing a disservice to ourselves, because if you see here, we have leaves and branches that are kind of touching the ground here. And what this does, this allows basically a pathway for different, anything from critters to crawl up here, get to your fruit, or any kind of diseases that might reside here in the soil to also poison your fruit as well. It also allows for a couple other things, such as ease of access to the base of the plant for not only watering, but fertilization as well. So these are the determinate varieties. This is what is commonly known as a little bit of a sucker. I don't know if you can quite see it, but here's your tomato branch, your main stem. Right in there, that's a sucker. And on an indeterminate variety, that's what we'd be pruning off, one of those. But we're not gonna do that with these. We're gonna let these bush up so they can produce all their fruit at once, so we can harvest it all at once and get that little bumper crop off the San Marzanos. But what we are going to do is we're going to get rid of some of this low-hanging branches, low-hanging leaves and whatnot, just so we can have a healthier plant. And you know what? If there's an ugly one on there, get rid of it. Why keep it? You know, more often than not, these aren't really good for production anyways. So on our San Marzanos, that's kind of what we're gonna look like. This one I'm gonna end up taking off a little bit later. We've gone through and we did all of our San Marzanos. We got rid of basically on those just the lower leaves and branches that were kind of touching the ground, and maybe some that were looking a little disgusting. We've moved on here to our indeterminate variety, and behind me I've already done all those, but I wanted to show you this one up close and personal so you can kind of get an idea of what I'm doing. So basically, if you can see right here, here's the main stem of the plant. Here is a small branch that comes off. This is actually a sucker, and it needs to go. And you can always tell a sucker from a fruiting body by where it's at. It will always come out of what you could deem the crotch between the branch and the main stem. So those both need to go. This piece here and this leaf here, or branch. So we're gonna get rid of both of those. And this is looking a little shabby too, so why even keep it is my kind of point of view. Here again, we have another sucker. It's smaller. We're going to trim that away and get rid of that. And yet here again, we have kind of another fangly looking branch and another sucker. So we're going to get rid of those as well. If I can get my arm in there. There we go. And if we go up the stem here, these all look pretty healthy. This is all healthy new growth. But right here, we can see the start of another sucker. We don't have to put the scissors to it. We can just pinch it off with our fingers and keep an eye on it. And now, to keep these things trellising up the trellis, or growing up the trellis, I'm just using a loosely fastened zip tie, just to kind of keep them going in the direction we want them to. Otherwise they will get heavy and they will fall over, and then we did all this for nothing, essentially. Now they do make, believe it or not, little clips that you can use to clip your tomato plant onto your trellis, but I don't have people sending me free stuff. Anyways, so I use good old-fashioned hyper tough zip ties. Shameless promotion for hyper tough. Anyways, that's kind of it in a nutshell. And that's kind of what we're doing. Like I said, we've never done it before, so this is all new to us too. And the way my wife told me to remember indeterminate and determinate and what to do with them, IP for indeterminate, prune. And then she referenced the double D for the determinate, don't prune. So remember that, IP and double D's. Okay, so anyways, until next time, take care of one another and support local farms.